My mom chose my toxic stepsister over me and kicked me out. But years later, I'm engaged and her husband's contract with his company got dropped. Now she's blaming me for it. I'm a 28-year-old guy who's seen more family drama than a soap opera marathon. Growing up, I thought I had a normal life. You know, the kind where your mom actually gives a damn about you. But life has a way of sucker punching you when you least expect it. And my knockout blow came in the form of a stepsister from hell and a mom who'd rather play favorites than be a parent. It all started when I was 16. My dad had passed away a few years earlier and my mom decided it was time to move on. Enter stepdad, a guy who seemed decent enough at first. He had a daughter my age. Let's call her stepsister. From day one, something was off about her. She had this way of looking at you like she was plotting your demise while asking to borrow your phone charger. At first, I tried to be the bigger person. I figured, hey, maybe she's just having a hard time adjusting. So I extended the olive branch. Hey, I said one day after school, want to grab a pizza or something? Maybe we could hang out, get to know each other better. She looked at me like I'd suggested we go dumpster diving for dinner. No thanks, she sneered. I don't really do the whole family bonding thing. That should have been my first clue that this wasn't going to be some Brady Bunch situation. But I was young, naive, and still believed that with enough effort, you could make any family work. Boy, was I wrong. Over the next 2 years, stepsister turned our house into a battlefield and I was her favorite target. She'd borrow my things without asking, then conveniently lose them. She'd make snide comments about my friends, my hobbies, even the way I dressed. But that was just the warm-up. The real fun started when she began spinning tales to my mom and stepdad. Suddenly, I was the bad guy in every situation. If something went missing, I must have taken it. If there was a fight, I must have started it. And the kicker? My mom believed her. Every single time. I remember the day I realized just how bad things had gotten. I'd just gotten home from my part-time job at the local grocery store, exhausted and looking forward to a quiet night of homework and maybe some video games. As soon as I walked in, I knew something was wrong. My mom and stepdad were sitting at the kitchen table, their faces grim. Sit down, my mom said, her voice cold. We need to talk. I sat, my heart pounding. What's going on? Your sister told us what you did, stepdad said, his face a mask of disappointment. I blinked, confused. What are you talking about? My mom slammed her hand on the table, making me jump. Don't play dumb. She told us about the party, the drinking, the drugs. My jaw dropped. What? Mom, I haven't been to any parties. I'd been working every weekend for the past month. But they weren't listening. Stepsister had spun a tale of me sneaking out, attending wild parties, and even dealing drugs at school. It was all lies, of course, but she had proof. Doctored photos, fake text messages, even a small bag of white powder she claimed to have found in my room. I was stunned. Mom, you can't seriously believe this. You know me. I would never. I thought I knew you, she cut me off, her voice trembling. But clearly I was wrong. That night, as I lay in bed, trying to process what had happened, I heard voices from downstairs. Creeping to the top of the stairs, I listened, my heart sinking with every word. I just don't know what to do with him anymore. My mom was saying, her voice thick with tears. Maybe it's time we consider sending him away, stepdad suggested. I know a great military school that deals with troubled teens. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They were talking about shipping me off, all because of stepsister's lies. In that moment, something inside me broke. The last shred of hope I had for this family dissolved like sugar in rain. The next morning, I confronted stepsister before school. Why are you doing this? I demanded, my voice shaking with anger and hurt. She just smirked, that same calculating look in her eyes. Because I can, she said simply. Face it, they'll always believe me over you. You're just the sad little orphan boy they took in out of pity. I'm the real daughter here. Her words hit me like a physical blow. But before I could respond, my mom walked in. What's going on here? She asked, her eyes narrowing as she looked at me. Nothing, stepsister said sweetly. Her whole demeanor changing in an instant. He was just threatening me again. I'm scared, Mom. And just like that, I was the bad guy again. My mom turned on me, her eyes flashing with anger. "That's it," she said. "I've had enough. You're out of control, and I won't have you terrorizing this family anymore." "But Mom?" "No buts," she cut me off. "You have until the end of the week to find somewhere else to live. I'm done." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. My own mother was kicking me out, choosing this interloper over her own flesh and blood. I felt like I was drowning, gasping for air in a sea of betrayal and disbelief. The next few days passed in a blur. I packed what I could, made arrangements with a friend to crash on his couch, and tried to wrap my head around the fact that my life as I knew it was over. On my last night in the house, I overheard Stepsister talking on the phone. It worked perfectly, she was saying. Her voice gleeful. "The idiot bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now I've got this place all to myself." In that moment, rage, unlike anything I'd ever felt before, coursed through me. I wanted to burst into her room, to confront her, to make her confess to my mom. But what was the point? My mom had made her choice. She'd chosen Stepsister over me. Nothing I could say or do would change that. So I left. At 18, with nothing but a duffel bag of clothes and a heart full of hurt, I walked out of that house and didn't look back. The next few years were tough. I couch surfed, worked multiple jobs, and somehow managed to put myself through community college. It wasn't easy, but every hardship, every sleepless night spent worrying about rent or my next meal made me stronger. I was determined to prove them all wrong, as to show that I could make something of myself without them. And you know what? I did. By 25, I had a decent job in IT, my own apartment, and a life I'd built entirely on my own terms. I even met an amazing girl, let's call her G, who showed me what real love and support looked like. It was G who encouraged me to try reconnecting with my mom. "People change," she said. Maybe enough time has passed for her to see the truth. I was skeptical, but I agreed to give it a shot. I reached out, suggesting we meet for coffee. To my surprise, my mom agreed. Walking into that cafe, seeing her for the first time in 7 years was surreal. She looked older, tired in a way that went beyond physical exhaustion. We sat in awkward silence for a few moments before she spoke. "You look good," she said softly. I am glad you're doing well." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak just yet. She took a deep breath and continued. "I owe you an apology," she said. Her voice trembling. "I should have believed you. I should have been a better mother." Part of me wanted to lash out, to unleash 7 years of pent-up anger and hurt. But looking at her, I realized something. She was already punishing herself more than I ever could. "What happened?" I asked instead. She sighed, running a hand through her graying hair. "Stepsister, she got caught in a lie. A big one. It made me start questioning everything, including what happened with you. By the time I realized the truth, you were gone. And I was too ashamed to reach out." We talked for hours that day, tears flowing freely as we navigated the minefield of our shared past. It wasn't perfect. There was too much hurt for that. But it was a start. Over the next few months, we slowly rebuilt our relationship. I introduced her to G, and for the first time in years, I felt like I had a mom again. Things were looking up. Then came the bombshell. It was a regular Sunday dinner at my place. My mom, stepdad, and even stepsister were there. We'd reached a fragile truce, though I kept her at arm's length. G and I had just announced our engagement when stepdad's phone rang. He stepped out to take the call, returning a few minutes later looking shell-shocked. "What's wrong, honey?" my mom asked, concern etched on her face. Stepdad collapsed into his chair, his face ashen. "It's the company," he said. "They've dropped my contract. Effective immediately." The room erupted into chaos. Stepdad was a successful businessman, and his contract with this particular company was their main source of income. Losing it was catastrophic. As everyone talked over each other, trying to make sense of what had happened, I noticed Stepsister. She wasn't joining in the panic. Instead, she was looking straight at me, her eyes narrowed in suspicion. "This is your fault," she hissed, low enough that only I could hear. I blinked, taken aback. "What are you talking about?" She leaned in, her voice dripping with venom. "Don't play dumb. You work in IT. You probably hacked into the company or something, got revenge for what happened years ago. Well, congratulations. You've ruined us all. I stared at her, incredulous. Even after all this time, after everything that had happened, she was still trying to pin her problems on me. But before I could respond, my mom spoke up. That's enough, she said sharply, surprising us all. This has nothing to do with him. Stop trying to blame others for your own mistakes. Stepsister's jaw dropped. For once, she was speechless. My mom turned to me, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and determination. I'm so sorry, she said. I should have stood up for you like this years ago. I know it doesn't make up for everything, but I promise I'm on your side now, always. In that moment, something shifted. The last piece of the puzzle fell into place, and I felt a weight I didn't even know I was carrying lift from my shoulders. My mom had chosen me. Finally, after all these years, she had chosen me. The aftermath wasn't pretty. Stepdad's company loss turned out to be due to some shady business practices on his part, practices stepsister had known about and even assisted with. They both faced legal consequences and my mom filed for divorce. It's been a year since that fateful dinner. G and I are happily married now, and my mom is a regular fixture in our lives. She's got her own place, a part-time job she loves, and a newfound sense of independence. Stepsister and stepdad are out of our lives for good. As for me, I'm doing better than I ever thought possible. I've got a loving wife, a mom who finally sees me for who I am, and a future full of possibilities. It wasn't an easy road, and there were times I thought I'd never make it here. But you know what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And me, I'm stronger than ever. So to stepsister, wherever you are, thanks for the life lessons. They were hard-earned, but hey, at least they make for one hell of a story. Hey folks, if you enjoyed this tale of family drama, betrayal, and sweet, sweet karma, why not hit that subscribe button? After all, you never know when you might need tips on how to spot a toxic stepsister or navigate a family reunion that feels more like a courtroom drama.